I never thought installing a backyard sculpture would turn my quiet cul-de-sac into a battlefield. But when Karen Hargrove, the self-appointed HOA tyrant and CEO of some mid-tier marketing firm, stormed over with her emergency call, screaming that my art was summoning demons, I knew we'd crossed into war territory. Picture this, me, a 35-year-old graphic designer fresh off a divorce, finally reclaiming my sanity with a hand-forged iron and crystal piece inspired by ancient Celtic knots. Nothing occult, just a nod to my Irish roots. And boom, sirens wail because she convinced Dispatch it was a public hazard to Christian souls. That's right, she filed it under spiritual terrorism, and as the cops pulled up, tasers at the ready, I grabbed my phone and hit record, turning her meltdown into the viral clip that would bury her empire. It started innocently enough, or as innocent as suburbia gets in Willow Creek, Ohio, a cookie-cutter paradise of McMansions and manicured lawns where everyone pretends their lives are Instagram perfect. I bought the place 6 months earlier, post-split from my ex who thought my artsy hobbies were why we tanked. The divorce left me broke, but free, so when the HOA board, dominated by Karen and her Botox brigade, approved my backyard reno with a thumbs-up email, I dove in. The sculpture? 8 feet tall, twisted metal vines cradling quartz shards that caught the sun like prisms. I called it Roots Reborn, a symbol of shaking off the dead weight. Neighbors like old Mr. Patel next door even complimented it over fence chats, saying it added character to the block. But Karen? Oh, she was the queen bee, a 52-year-old powerhouse in pencil skirts and pearls, lording over quarterly meetings like a drill sergeant. Her husband, a limp dish rag named Todd, trailed her like a shadow, and their twin teens slunk around avoiding eye contact. As CEO of Hargrove Strategies, she peddled empowerment seminars to burnout execs, but in Willow Creek, her real gig was enforcing covenants with the zeal of a cult leader. No bird feeders, attracts vermin. No solar panels, aesthetic blight. And God forbid a fence over 4 feet. My sculpture? It was in my private yard, screened by arborvitae, but from her upstairs deck, it must have looked like a middle finger to her beige worldview. The call came on a sweltering July afternoon, me shirtless and sweaty, polishing the quartz with a chamois while blasting Springsteen from a Bluetooth speaker. What in the name of Jesus is that pagan idol doing in God's country? Her voice sliced through the fence like a Ginsu knife. I peeked over. There she was, all 250 pounds of floral moo fury, binoculars dangling from her neck like a trophy hunter's kill. Karen, it's art. I called back, wiping sweat from my brow. HOA approved. Chill. Big mistake. Her face purpled, jowls quivering. Art? This is witchcraft. It's too spiritual, calling down spirits on our children. She was already fumbling for her phone, pudgy fingers stabbing 911 as if dialing dominoes. Dispatch must have thought it was a prank at first. Some lady ranting about demonic vibrations from a backyard hunk of metal. But Willow Creek PD doesn't mess around with VIP complaints. 2 cruisers screeched up my driveway before I could even rinse off, lights flashing like a Black Friday sale gone wrong. Officer Ramirez, a no-nonsense Latina with a ponytail and a stare that could curdle milk, hopped out first. Sir, we got a report of a hazardous device. Step away from the installation. I froze, heart pounding, hands up like I was surrendering to the feds. Hazardous? The thing weighed 300 pounds and couldn't hurt a fly unless you tripped over a drunk. That's when Karen waddled into view, flanked by Todd, who looked like he'd rather be golfing. She thrust her phone forward, playing a shaky video she'd just shot, my sculpture pulsing in the sunlight, narrated with her breathless hysteria. See? It's glowing, like in the movies. This man's cursing our neighborhood. Ramirez glanced at it, then at me, eyebrow arched. Ma'am, is this an emergency? Karen puffed up. Absolutely. As HOA president and a taxpayer, I'm protecting our community from this satanic blight. The other cop, a rookie kid named Ellis, snorted but covered it with a cough. I saw my opening, calm, collected, play the victim. Officers, check the HOA records. It's permitted. She's been harassing me since I moved in. fines for my compost bin, noise complaints over my leaf blower. This is retaliation. Word spreads fast in Willow Creek. By evening, the neighborhood group chat exploded. Did you hear? Cops at Jake's? Karen lost her marbles over that pretty sculpture. Mr. Patel texted me a thumbs-up emoji, and even quiet Mrs. Nguyen from across the street dropped off homemade pho with a note. Art is life. Ignore the dragon lady. But Karen? She doubled down, blasting an emergency HOA email at 10 p.m. Urgent. Immediate threat TO property values. All members must attend tomorrow's special meeting to vote on removal of the offending structure. Non-compliance risks fines up to $500. I laughed at first, me fine for my own damn yard, but then the anger simmered. This wasn't just petty, it was personal. She'd sniffed out my divorce vulnerability, the fresh paint on my for sale sign I'd scrapped. Time to fight back. The next morning, I lawyered up via Zoom with a buddy from college, a civil rights attorney in Cleveland who owed me for that time I crashed on his couch post-breakup. Jake, this screams First Amendment, expressive art on private property. Plus, her 911 call could be abuse of service, maybe even a misdemeanor. We plotted, document everything, rally neighbors, go public. I posted the body cam footage Ramirez had let me snag with her sympathetic wink on Nextdoor and the local Facebook group. Caption: when HOA leadership dials 911 over backyard zen. Thoughts? Views hit 500 by lunch, comments flooding. Karen's at it again. Remember the yoga band? This woman needs a hobby that isn't yours. The HOA meeting was a circus in the community center. Folding chairs, scraping linoleum under fluorescent buzz. Karen presided from a podium, her CEO poise cracking as she PowerPoint blurry pics of my sculpture labeled potential cult symbol. We've all seen the news. Crystals in schools. Wicca in the woods. This starts here. Gasps from her loyalists, a few titters from the back. When my turn came, I stood tall. No notes, just raw truth. Karen, you called armed officers to my home over art that reminds me of my heritage. My grandfather fought in Normandy for freedoms like this. What's your excuse? Afraid it'll drop your Zillow comps. The room erupted. Mr. Patel clapped. A young mom with tattoos yelled, "Vote no." Karen slammed her gavel, veins bulging. Out of order. This is disruption. By vote's end, it was 28-12 against removal, her empire cracking. She stormed out, muttering about lawsuits and board recalls. I thought that was the win, but nah. That's when the real revenge brewed. See, I'd uncovered her dirt during late-night scrolls. Hardrow Strategies, her baby, was under SEC sniff for fudged client metrics. Whispers on Glassdoor about toxic culture, ex-employees spilling on Reddit about her screaming fits. And get this, her Christian values shtick? A front. Old LinkedIn posts showed her at Burning Man in the 90s, all henna tattoos and free love. Hypocrite gold. I didn't stoop to leaks, not yet. Instead, I turned Roots Reborn into a symbol. Local paper, the Willow Gazette, ran a feature. Artist versus HOA. The sculpture that sparked a suburban uprising. Quotes from neighbors painted Karen as the villain. Overreach on holiday lights, shaming a single dad for his kid's trampoline. Views spiked, and suddenly my inbox overflowed with commissions. But Karen? Radio silence until the protest. Yeah, I organized one. Peaceful, 20 folks picnicking in my yard. Signs like art isn't a crime and 911 for emergencies, not envy. She showed, of course, from her deck, filming with that same shaky hand. Big error. One sign, a zinger for Mrs. Nguyen, Karen's coven, banning joy since 2015. It went viral on TikTok, remixed with exorcist soundbites over her 911 audio. Hashtags HOA Karen spiritual sculpture trended locally, then nationally. Fox News even clipped it for a segment on woke HOA wars. Her firm? Clients bailed. 2 big pharma accounts cited reputational risk. I got a cease and desist from her lawyer, some ambulance chaser in Akron, demanding I scrub the vids and pay $10,000 in emotional damages. My attorney buddy laughed it off, counter with defamation. She's the one who lied to cops. The clapback hit peak absurdity at the county fair, where I'd rented a booth to demo mini sculptures. Proceeds to local arts edition. Karen crashed it, entourage in tow, demanding the booth shut down for health code violations. The crystals were unhygienic. Fair organizer, a burly ex-Marine named Hank, wasn't having it. "Lady, this is private event. Take your drama elsewhere." She dialed 911 again, third time that month, claiming assault via artwork. Deputies arrived, recognized me from the prior call, and instead of hassle, they hauled her aside for a chat. Turns out, repeated false alarms ping red flags in dispatch logs. "Ma'am, this borders on misuse. We could cite you." She deflated like a punctured whoopee cushion, blubbering to Todd about persecution. I overheard, sipping a root beer float, as Hank comped me a corn dog. "Buddy, you just made her year." But the real gut punch? Her border call. Neighbors, fired up from the fair fiasco, petitioned. 45 signatures in 48 hours. Emergency election. She lost 40-5, her own husband abstaining. The new prez? Mr. Patel, who immediately tabled her pet projects. Still, it wasn't done. The betrayal cut deep. Not just the harassment, but how she'd weaponized community against one guy healing from heartbreak. My ex had done the same, twisting our shared friends into spies. Karen was that ex amplified, a mirror of control freakery. So, for the finale, I hosted an open house, sculpture soiree, BYOB, live music from a local folk band. Invites went to everyone but her cabal. Word leaked, of course. She gate crashed, 3 sheets of the wind on boxed wine, slurring about conspiracies and my rights as a founder. Witnesses? Plenty. When she lunged at the sculpture, trying to topple it with a folding chair, that's when Ellis, the rookie cop, off-duty but handy, stepped in. "Ma'am, that's destruction of property. Hands behind back." Handcuffs clicked under string lights. Her muumuu hiking up to reveal control-top regrets. "This is fascism. I'm calling my lawyer." But the crowd? Silent cheers, phones out. Dispatch confirmed. Her 4th bogus 911 that night, reporting the party as a rave ritual. Prosecutors, tipped by Ramirez, charge her with filing false reports and misdemeanor vandalism. Bail? $2,000, posted by a reluctant Todd, who filed for separation the next week. As I led her away, mascara rivers down her cheeks, she locked eyes with me. "You'll burn for this, artist boy." I smiled, raising a glass. "Nah, Karen, that's your inferno." The party raged on, roots reborn, glowing like a beacon. But here's the bitter twist. Victory tastes like ash when you see the wreckage. Her firm's stock tanked 30%, seminars canceled, LinkedIn flooded with boycott Hargrove. She vanished from Willow Creek by fall, rumors of a Reno retreat with a life coach. Me? I sold a dozen pieces, started dating a gallery curator from Cincinnati. Yet late nights, Springsteen crooning, I'd stare at the sculpture and wonder, was it art that won, or just better PR in the core public spite? Suburbia healed, but scars linger, like her empty house, for sale sign mocking the piece. The arrest made headlines, but not the kind Karen craved. Local CEO cuffed at block party over sculpture spat, blared the Gazette, with a pixelated mugshot that did her no favors. Puffy eyes, lipstick-smeared snarl. National outlets picked it up. BuzzFeed's Karen of the Week list, a snarky Daily Mail sidebar next to celeb divorces. Her downfall was catnip for the internet, where schadenfreude flows like craft IPA. I watched from my couch, feet up on the coffee table. I'd refinish myself, a cold IPA in hand. Victory lap, right? Wrong. That night, as notifications pinged like fireworks, a knot twisted in my gut. Revenge isn't a sprint. It's a marathon with blisters. Flash back to the days post-meeting when the backlash simmered. Karen didn't slink away. She escalated, true to her boardroom battles. Mornings brought anonymous letters in my mailbox. No stamp, just typed rants. Your art is a gateway to sin. Repent or relocate. Evenings, cars slowed past my house, headlights lingering like stalkers. One night, I caught Todd in my recycling bin, rifling for evidence. "Hey, I yelled from the porch. He bolted, dropping a yogurt cup. Paranoid? Maybe, but Willow Creek had its share of HOA horror stories. Poison pets, slashed tires. I installed a ring cam, motion lights, the works. Cost a chunk of my freelance check. But peace of mind's priceless when you're the new guy. Work suffered too. Clients love the buzz. That viral sculpture dude? Hire him. But focus frayed. I'd sketch logos at 2 a.m., eyes gritty, replaying her 911 tirade. Why me? Was it the divorce vibes, the single guy aura, screaming, easy target? Or deeper, my sculpture's quiet rebellion against her cookie-cutter creed? Karen embodied the American dream gone sour. Climb the ladder, then kick it down. Her seminars preached lean in, but in reality, she leaned on folks like me, enforcing sameness to mask her own cracks. I dug deeper online, piecing her puzzle. Oberlin dropout, clawed to CEO via cutthroat mergers. A 2012 DUI, scrubbed from records. Whispers of an affair with her VP. The Burning Man pics? Priceless, tie-dye Karen, blissed out on ayahuasca, preaching spiritual awakening. Pot, meat kettle. The protest was my line in the sand, but it birthed unintended spawn. TikTok teens remixed her audio into diss tracks. Karen's Call, over Cardi B beats, millions of views. One went global. A drag queen lip-syncing her demonic vibrations, rant in full diva garb. Hargrove Strategies, Twitter imploded. Blue-check influencers piled on, when her brand's as brittle as her bylaws. She fired back with a Medium post, victim of cancel culture mob, crying censorship, invoking free speech while suing the Fair Board for $50,000. My lawyer shredded it. Frivolous. Will countersue for harassment. But court dates loomed, stress gnawing like termites. Neighbors rallied, though Willow Creek's underbelly of quiet rebels. Mr. Patel hosted barbecues where we'd swap war stories. Karen's yoga ban, to Eastern. Her war on food trucks, lower standards. Mrs. Nguyen baked spring rolls stamped with solidarity. Even Todd defected, cornering me at the gas station. She's unraveling Jake. The stress. It's the job, the image. He looked hollow, like a suit on a hanger. I pitted him, almost trapped in her orbit, enabling the monster. Leave, man, before she drags you under. He nodded, eyes wet, and drove off to who knows where. Du soirée? Catharsis wrapped in fairy lights. Folk band strummed Dylan covers, air thick with grill smoke and laughter. Kids chased fireflies around Roots Reborn, oblivious to the drama. When Karen burst through the gate, wine bottle swinging like a club, the vibe shattered. This is my neighborhood. You heathens. Slurs flew, fake Christian, bully in pearls. She zeroed on me, chair raised. Your fault. All of it. Ellis, nursing a seltzer, moved like lightning. Wrestler's build from high school glory days. Cuffs on, squad car humming, she wailed, Todd. Help. But he was MIA, probably packing. Jail processed her quick, orange jumpsuit swallowing her frame, fingerprints smudging the scanner. Bail hearing next morning, judge, a silver-haired vet named Harlan, peered over bifocals. Ms. Hargrove, for false reports in 90 days? That's not leadership, that's lunacy. Her lawyer spun mental health episode, but Harlan wasn't buying. Community service, 200 hours at the senior center. Ironic, given your complaints about their cult bingo nights. And restitution to Mr. Ellis for emotional distress. She sobbed, snotty and spent, as deputies let her out. Press swarmed the courthouse steps. I slipped the back, head down. Aftermath hit like a hangover. Her firm folded. Chapter 11 by August. Assets liquidated. Seminars rebranded under a deputy, but the stink lingered. Todd filed, citing irreconcilable toxicity, and got the house in settlement. Twins? Off to college early, radio silent on family drama. Karen? Spotted waitressing at a Denny's in Akron, incognito in a visor, slinging grand slams to truckers. No more pearls, just grease stains. I drove by once on a whim. Curiosity, not cruelty. She refilled coffees with mechanical smiles, eyes dull as dishwater. Our gazes met. She froze, then turned away, shoulders slumping. Me? Thriving, sorta. Commissions poured in, galleries in Columbus, even a TEDx invite on art as resistance. Dated that curator, Sarah, fiery redhead who quoted Audre Lorde over IPAs. Willow Creek mellowed. New HOA Prez axed fines, greenlit bird feeders. But the knot? It loosened, never untied. Revenge's thrill fades, leaving echoes. I catch myself sketching Karens, archetypes in metal and spite, wondering if I became one, fighting fire with fire. Roots reborn, stood sentinel, prisms dancing, a reminder. Beauty provokes, but healing? That's the real art. One crisp October eve, as leaves carpeted the yard, Sarah and I hosted a low-key bonfire. Neighbors trickled in, mores and stories flowing. Mr. Patel raised a marshmallow skewer, to Jake, and to letting go. We toasted, flames crackling. Later, alone with the sculpture, I traced its knots. Forged in fury, tempered by fallout. Karen's ghost lingered in the quartz's gleam, a cautionary flicker. Suburbia endures battle scar, but damn if we don't rebuild stronger. Winter blanketed Willow Creek in that indifferent Ohio way. Snow muffling the mundane, turning McMansions into gingerbread traps. By December, the sculpture wars felt like ancient history, a punchline at holiday parties. Remember when Karen summoned the SWAT team for shiny rocks? Laughter echoed, but for me, it lingered like frostbite. Success brought its own chill. Gigs stacked, but isolation crept in. Sarah and I? Solid on paper, weekend hikes, Netflix binges, but her artist's I saw through my armor. You're still carrying her, Jake. That woman's a vampire. She feeds on grudge. Brutal truth, served with her signature black coffee. The new year dawned with subpoenas, not mine, hers. Turns out, her false alarms trigger nodded. County DA uncovered a pattern. Not just me. Past complaints. A Latina family's quinceañera labeled gang activity. A black neighbor's barbecue as loitering hazard. Systemic, the lawyers called it. Civil suits piled. Defamation from the yoga instructor she'd banned for hypnotic poses. Emotional distress from Mr. Patel over a bogus lien on his driveway pavers. Her empire? Dust. Hargrove Strategies auctioned off. Desks to a startup, client list poached. She countersued everyone, a flailing hydra, but judges slapped them down. Frivolous filings waste court time. I testified in February. County courthouse smelling of stale coffee and desperation. Oak-paneled room, fluorescent hum, Karen across the aisle in ill-fitting blazer. Weight down, but defiance up. Our eyes met. Hers narrowed, lips curling like she'd spit venom. Mr. Donovan, the DA, intoned, described the impact. I leaned into the mic, voice steady. Fear, officers at my door. Sleepless nights, second-guessing every nail I hammer. It's not about the sculpture, it's control. She weaponized authority against folks who don't fit her mold. Gasps from the gallery. Neighbors packed the benches, solidarity silent but thick. Karen's lawyer objected. Speculative. Judge Harlan overruled. His gavel a punctuation mark. Her turn, cross-exam. Mr. Donovan, isn't it true you provoked this with your provocative installation designed to offend conservative values? I chuckled. Nerves, maybe. Provocative? It's Celtic heritage, ma'am. My granddad's rosary had knots like that. If that's offensive, maybe check your biases. The room tittered. Her face flamed. Harlan adjourned for recess. In the hall, reporters swarmed. Jake, any comment on the Karen effect? I shrugged. Just glad art's still legal in America. Spring thawed the grudges, or so I thought. Sarah pushed therapy. EMDR sessions in a strip mall office. Unpacking the divorce. Karen as proxy wound. Betrayal's a chain. The shrink said, all wire-rimmed glasses and empathy. Break it. I did, sorta, journaled rants, burned them in the fire pit. Commissions boomed. A park installation in Dayton, echoes of equity, vines entwining diverse figures. Critics raved. Donovan's work pulses with post-pandemic resilience. Paychecks followed, enough for a down payment on studio space downtown. But Karen? She clawed back pettier. Anonymous Yelp reviews tanked my freelance profile. Unprofessional. His art ruined my view. 1-star zingers. Easy to trace via IP. My lawyer slapped a restraining order. She violated it twice. Drive-bys. Documented on Ring. Cops warned her. One more. And it's stalking charges. Todd's divorce finalized. He got the twins' tuition. She the debt. Spotted her at an NA meeting in May. Whispers from a mutual acquaintance. Rock bottom, they said. Part of me cheered. Another recoiled. Was this justice or just piling on a broken bully? The bitter end crystallized at summer solstice. Ironic, given her spiritual beef. Willow Creek's first Art in the Park Fest, my roots as centerpiece. Crowds milled. Families, food trucks, face paint. Sarah manned the merch table, hawking prints. Then, the shadow, Karen, gaunt in sundress, hovering at the edge. No entourage, just a thermos clutched like a lifeline. She approached slow, eyes downcast. Jake, voice raspy, stripped of CEO bark. I tensed, Sarah's hand on my arm. What? She swallowed. I came to apologize. For the calls, the lies. Therapy's kicking my ass. Turns out controls my drug. Pause, thermos cap twisting. Your piece? It's beautiful. I was scared of change, of feeling small. Shock rooted me. Apology? From the dragon? Sarah squeezed. Your call. I nodded. Takes guts. But words ain't erasers. You hurt folks, me Patel, the whole block. She winced. I know. Making amends. Volunteered at the center. Bingo's not so occult. A ghost smile. We stood awkward, solstice sun dipping. Truce, she asked. I waited. Forgiveness as chainbreaker. Maybe. Start with the suits. Drop him. She nodded, turning away. As she melted into the crowd, I exhaled. Not absolution, but a hinge creaking open. Fest wrapped triumphant. Sales top projections. Local news feature. But that night, alone with Sarah on the porch, doubt crept. Think she's for real? Sarah sipped wine. Doesn't matter. You release the grudge. True. Karen faded. Suits settled out of court. Her trace ghost in group chats, a cautionary meme. Me? Gallery show and fall. Book deal whispers. Roots reborn. Evolved. New vines. Faces carved in. A mosaic of survivors. Yet the controversy lingered, a low hum. Media spun it two ways. Progressive win. Suburban satire. Art topples tyrant. Versus conservative gripe. Cancel culture claims another victim. I dodged panels. Focused on clay. Betrayals echo. Fainter now like distant thunder. Karen's arrest wasn't the end. It was the crack letting light in. Suburbia's still a pressure cooker. Next Karen's brewing somewhere. But damn, if we don't fight with beauty, what V we got? One dawn jog, past her old house, flipper renovated, rainbow flag in window. I paused at my fence. Sculpture gleamed, dew-kissed. Touched a quartz shard. Cool, unyielding. Forged in fire, reborn in frost. That's the American rhythm. Messy, mended, marching on. Fall-painted Willow Creek in bonfire hues. Oranges and crimsons swirling like a drunkard's dream. By Labor Day, the sculpture saga was folklore, retold at tailgates with beers in hand. And then, bam, cuffs on the queen bee. Laughter boomed, but for me, it settled into something quieter, like sediment in a stirred creek. Sarah and I made it official. Rings swapped over crab cakes at a lakeside spot. Her yes a bomb on Old Burns. Life looped forward. Studio humming with apprentices. Roots, replicas shipping nationwide. Yet echoes persisted, faint but insistent, like a radio tuned to static. Karen's truce held, fragile as rice paper. She kept distance, spotted at the co-op, stocking kale and Birkenstocks, no moo-moo armor. Whispers said rehab worked. She blogged anonymously now, from corner office to compassion, dissecting her power poison. Readers ate it up, redemption arcs sell. One post name-dropped me. The artist who mirror my monsters. Grateful for the reflection. I read it at midnight, screen glow harsh. Grateful? Part of me scoffed. Too tidy, too performative. Another part? Nodded. Healing's not linear. It's a stumble towards sorry. But suburbia doesn't do tidy. October brought the recall's ripple. Interim board unearthed her slush fund. Due siphoned for consulting fees to her firm. Audit exposed $15,000 in funny money. Fake invoices for aesthetic audits. DA circled back. She flipped, testified against herself for leniency. Plea deal. Probation, repay double, 500 community hours. Courtroom redux. Her in boxy suit, voice quavering through ledgers. I justified it as protection. For values, for value. Harlan's verdict. Greed masked as guardianship. 3 years supervised, no leadership roles. Gavel fell. She exited head high, but steps shuffled. Neighbors split. Some pitted, everyone slips. Others seethed, lock her up. I stayed neutral, channeling into work. A mural for the rec center, vines weaving diverse hands. Unveiling drew crowds. Karen lurked peripheral, clapping polite from afar. Post-ceremony, she approached, solo, thermos swapped for a thermos of tea. Jake the piece. It's us. Tangled but tending. Awkward beat. Heard about the fund. Rough. She shrugged. Karma's a coach. Teaching humility. We parted neutral. No hugs, just nods. Progress. Prickly as thistle. Winter whispered closure. Holidays hit hard. First without divorce ghosts, but Karen's shadow loomed in tinsel. Sarah hosted. Patel's curry. Nguyen's egg rolls. A tree strung with crystal shards. Toast to resilience. I raised to roots that run deep. Post-feast, snow falling fat flakes, I wandered yard. Roots reborn dusted white, ethereal in moonlight. Touched it, cold metal warming under palm. That's when the call came. Unknown number, voicemail blinking. Her voice, tentative. Jake? It's Karen. Not for pity. Just. Thanks. For not finishing me off. Mary whatever. Deleted but lingered. Spring 2026 bloomed defiant. Tulips punching soil. My book deal inked. Sculpted shadows. Art, anger, and the American backyard. Ghostwriter polished my rants in a prose. Advance bought Sarah Kiln. Launch party? Gallery in Columbus. Champagne flutes clinking. Faces from the fray. Ramirez with her wife. Ellis toasting to tasers and used. No Karen, but a card arrived. Scrawled proud of the mirror. K. Tossed it but smiled. The real bitter? Not her fall, but mine almost. Therapy unearthed it. Revenge as rebound. Channeling X-pain into her pyre. You avenged the wrong woman. Shrink said. Ouch. Sarah knew. Love's the ultimate clapback. We hiked Hocking Hills that summer. Waterfalls roaring, vines real and wild. Atop a ridge, breathless, I proposed expansion. Kids? A bigger roots. Her grin. Twist me in. Karen resurfaced autumnal. LinkedIn pivot. Hargrove Harmony. Coaching vulnerable leaders on boundaries. Clients? Nonprofits, irony thick. We crossed at a chamber mixer. Small talk over sliders. Thriving? I asked. Scraping grace, she quipped. You rooted. Laughter genuine, brief bridge. By year's end, Willow Creek was reborn. HOA as ally, art walks monthly. My mural? Vandalized once, graffiti, too woke, but repainted communal, stronger. Controversy? Fodder for podcasts. I guessed it one. The Karen I knew and forgave. Listeners DM'd. Inspiring, BS redemption. Truth? Both. Outrage fuels, but bitterness binds. Issues ruse. One solstice eve, full circle, Park Fest redux, roots center stage. Crowd swelled. Karen volunteered, face-painting kids, steady hand. Our eyes met across the green. She waved, I waved back. No words needed. As sun dipped, prisms flared, rainbow promise. Suburbia's saga. Clash, crack, coalesce. Art endures, grudges. Optional. And me? First-person foreman of my forge. Hammering hurts in a hope. That's the Yankee rhythm. Shock, settle, soar. Karen's arrested arc? A footnote in my epic. But damn, what a plot twist.